When researchers work on VR applications or VR headsets, devices or techniques, they should always think about the effects that these devices will have on the user. This is not very new. We typically think about how this or that kind of software will be used. Here, the devices and techniques may have an effect that goes quite far. First, because there is subliminal influence, because these devices don't necessarily present things to the consciousness of the user, but it can go beyond. Second, because these devices and techniques will be used in sectors of human life which very often influence humans profoundly, deeply. Let me take a couple of examples. One is education, another one is healthcare. When you use a VR device for education, of course you should ask, well, what kind of human are we creating that way? What knowledge, what skills are we creating that way? If we teach a human to swim using a virtual reality device, will that human be able to swim in the real life? If we teach a professional, let's say first aid professional, to deliver first aid through some simulation in extended reality, maybe for the firemen or for medical or healthcare professionals, will they be able to do this in real life? If we use a VR device to study how to fix nuclear explosions, and if, God forbid, there is a nuclear explosion, will we be able to use our virtual skills in the material world? These deep questions are not just pure abstract things let's figure out later. The researchers should think about these things and try to develop solutions by design. This is what we call, there is an expression favored by the European Commission, ethics by design. Well, ethics by design doesn't mean that your device will be ethical by design, of course not. But it means that as you're designing a headset or techniques and applications, you're thinking about possible ethical issues that may arise during use. Later on, when your device or technique will be deployed in the real world, and you're trying to put some checks and balances by design at an early stage. So, depending on the sector where your technique or device will be used, depending on the kind of software, is there machine learning or not? Is it subliminal or not? Depending on the type of the headset, of the hardware. Does it use a brain-computer interface or not? Is it just a screen or maybe much more than just a screen? So depending on all these things, there should be questions asked by the designers at early stages and at least some, I would say, solutions or maybe some first ideas of solutions that are developed in the code, in the design of the hardware, at an early stage, so that when ethical questions arise later, there will be more traceability, more checks, more metrics, more evaluation in order for us to be able later to deal with these kinds of questions, both at the individual level and at the societal level.